I think Donald Trump knows that it is over, that not only is his base fracturing, his loudest defenders in the Republican Party have become his loudest defectors in the Republican Party, but that he himself is weak. He understands it, and it's why he tries to puff himself up, pretend that he's tough. It's why a screaming Donald Trump tonight was threatening Republicans and threatening reporters after he was pressed on so many Epstein questions as new evidence continues to leak out. We are going to get into it all, and Trump's just collapse on the tarmac tonight. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you, so leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into Trump threatening and attacking a reporter, I, of course, want to start where Donald Trump did, threatening and attacking Democrats, saying that we're lying about affordability.
The prices are coming down. The Democrats like to use the word affordability, but their affordability was terrible. The problem with the Democrats, they lie. They do it so well. They talk about affordability, but I'm the one that's getting the prices down. As an example, they had the highest inflation in the history of our country. I have it down now to a normal level, and it's going down further. Thank you very much, everybody.
All right. Can Donald Trump point to one item in a grocery store that he has made cheaper? Like, can he? I know Donald Trump loves to talk about groceries and how that's the new word that he's come up with that everyone loves so much. But Donald Trump has only made life better for his family, who are grifting off the presidency, and billionaires who are destroying our country. So I don't really know how Donald Trump can say that the Democrats are lying about affordability, especially when Trump right now is rolling back tariffs on steak, on beef, on coffee, so many items that MAGA is now praising Trump for because he made them more expensive with idiotic tariffs. How do they always fall for this cycle of abuse where Trump does something, it screws them over, he retracts it, he praises himself, and then they praise him? It's because he's stupid. But some of them, it seems like, are kind of waking up. At least Marjorie Taylor Greene is pretending that she is in the press, and it's why Donald Trump attacked her right here.
Her life could be in danger because of the rhetoric?
Her life is in danger? Who's that?
Marjorie Taylor Greene, she says.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't think her life is in danger. Frankly, I don't think anybody cares about her. Okay, what about you?
Are you negotiating?
The man gives out a lot of nicknames. I am unsure if Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to work, but I honestly kind of find it funny. Marjorie Taylor Greene, please, I'm happy for you to criticize Donald Trump, but to pretend that just now you realize that his disgusting smears, his vicious attacks, the climate he has created with his disgusting and violent rhetoric, by the way, is just now happening when you participated in it on January 6th. You were a part of it, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Let's remember that. I'm not fully going to buy her apology, but I'm happy for her and Thomas Massie to continue to call out Donald Trump. And it's what Massie said right here in this clip that we're going to watch that a reporter pressed Trump on that made him lose his mind.
Congressman Massie, thank you for being here. President Trump fought long and hard to prevent your discharge petition from going through. You won that battle. Now, what happens? How many Republicans in the House follow your lead and defy the president on this?
I think we could have a deluge of Republicans. There could be 100 or more. I'm hoping to get a veto-proof majority on this legislation when it comes up for a vote. And, you know, the president's been saying this is a hoax. He's been saying that for months. Well, he's just now decided to investigate a hoax, if it's a hoax. And I have another concern about these investigations that he's announced. If they have ongoing investigations in certain areas, those documents can't be released. So this might be a big smokescreen, these investigations, to open a bunch of them as a last-ditch effort to prevent the release of the Epstein files.
I mean, it is extraordinary to hear him demand an investigation and only mention Democrats.
I think Massie hits the nail on the head more than Marjorie Taylor Greene does. He's a little bit more focused on the Epstein of it all than maybe the personal beef. thief that Green is. But how can you say that the Jeffrey Epstein files are a hoax at the same time that you need your DOJ to investigate Bill Clinton? It just doesn't really add up, except for the fact that it proves out that Donald Trump told his DOJ to stop any investigations and to not look into evidence, that the only thing that happened in the beginning of this administration was pouring through files to make sure they'd take Trump's name out. It's why it took them so long, because it's in there so much. And when Donald Trump was confronted with all of this, these very harsh realities for his presidency, I'm guessing you can predict what his reaction was, screaming at this reporter.
Representative Massey says he's concerned that the Epstein probe you are calling for could be a smokescreen to block the release of more files. Is that the case?
Well, I don't want to talk about it because fake news like you're a terrible reporter, and fake news like you, they just keep bringing that up to deflect from the tremendous success of the Trump administration. So a guy like Massey, his poll numbers are showing he's at 6% approval rating right now. And we call him Rand Paul Jr. because he never votes for the Republican Party. So they're using Jeffrey Epstein as a deflection from the tremendous success that we're having as a party.
Of course, it's no surprise. She's a terrible reporter. It's a terrible outlet. It's a fake story. It's fake news. Thomas Massey doesn't exist. Who was Jeffrey Epstein? I was never walking into a beauty pageant with those girls. I would never, these lies are so basic, that they're so, idiotic. They're so obvious. I don't know how Donald Trump believes that we will believe this. And the problem with the PR campaign around Epstein, and I want to take a quick aside before we get into the rest of this, the fact that a Megyn Kelly, a Megyn R. Kelly, as we could call her, or a Ben Shapiro, when they're talking about Epstein and Donald Trump's clear cover-up, the fact that their biggest qualm, what they're most upset about, is that it's been mishandled on a PR front, as Megyn Kelly said, as Ben Shapiro has voiced, just shows how blech these people are. I don't even have a word for it. It's blech. They're trying to justify. They're saying, oh, Donald, next time you protect the pedophiles, do it with a better strategy. But that Donald Trump thinks that the cover-up, the lies, the look over here, that the don't come after me, that he thinks that'll work, really just goes to show how stupid he believes his base is. He does. If you're in MAGA, Donald Trump thinks you're a fucking moron. And if you voted for Donald Trump, you are or you're evil. It's really just those two things. Either you have no idea how the world works, or you're someone who really understands how the world works, and you know that Donald Trump will use all the levers of power to protect the rich, the powerful, the corrupt, the criminals all the time. So you're clearly one of those people. But Donald Trump thinks his base is stupid. And it is why his new plan, war on the horizon, is how he's going to try to win them back. You got to hear what he had to say here, because it's very important that we keep up with this.
Are any other countries committed to helping the U.S. with Venezuela, or is all our action still?
Yeah, we have great support because it's all about drugs. Well, in Venezuela's case, it's about drugs, and it's also about thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that they've released into our country. And some are gang members from Tren de Aragua. Some are many are drug dealers. Some are murderers. So in the case of Venezuela, it's the prison population. Their almost entire prison population was released into the United States. You know what that means? Their prison population was released into the United States. And we're getting it out. We're doing an amazing job.
I feel like this has maybe been one of the quieter moves the administration has been making lately. I know they've literally been killing people with illegal strikes in international waters, but they're kind of building to it. And Donald Trump is starting to talk about this more and more. He's saying to his anti-war, no new war voters, which they never believe that. Let's be real. Some of them did, and it's why some people voted for Trump, but Trump certainly never believed it. He's saying to them, this is a just war that we must endeavor forward with, and this is the destiny of America, because Donald Trump so clearly cares about protecting people from harm. Okay, sure. But this is what Donald Trump wants to do. And in many ways, it is to distract. In others, it is to expand the power of the presidency so he can do whatever he wants. But Donald Trump, of course, wants to have the military fall in line to follow his orders. But someone who I think gave the perfect breakdown before we close on the last screaming meltdown that Trump had on that tarmac was Chris Murphy right here. This is very important stuff.
Venezuela is suggesting that there could be military strikes on Venezuela. How big a step would that be, and how should Democrats react to that?
Well, it seems pretty clear it's just an effort to distract people from the rising prices and from the Epstein scandal. No one wants a war with Venezuela. To the extent they're claiming it has something to do with the drug trade coming into the United States, the majority of drugs don't come through the Caribbean. They come via a land route that the president is ignoring because he is so focused on this absurd, illegal military campaign against Venezuela. So I don't think he'll find much support amongst Republicans or Democrats in this country for it. And by the way, it's wildly illegal. The president can't start a war with a nation without a congressional authorization. It's just another sign of how out of control and how lawless this president is, and another signal to Democrats as to why we need to draw those firm moral lines in the sand right now to constrain his growing illegality.
Donald Trump has spent so much of his presidency working to make you believe that Donald Trump is in charge of everything, that the presidency is wholly his, that there are no checks on him, and thus there are no checks on him taking over our government, uniformly shutting down agencies, unilaterally making judicial decisions, saying, oh, well, the courts can't tell me what to do. That has been Donald Trump's presidency. Shutting down the government was in large part extending Donald Trump's plan, outlined in Project 2025, to say that federal workers, we'll do what we want. This is our government. People who have worked for decades in public service, trying to make sure that there are checks on executive power, that Donald Trump cannot come in and politicize every part of our government. He said no. He wanted those people to quit. He tried to get them fired. He tried to get them furloughed. Donald Trump wants you to think that this government, that this military as well, is his. It's why one of his billionaire buddies donated $140 million because Donald Trump wants to pretend that he can buy off the government. But that's just not true. Donald Trump does not own America. That is not a right afforded to the president. That is just not the case. And so he's going to try, but we have to push back on that. And it makes it a lot easier when he speaks in such weak terms, when he reveals his idiocy, like he did right here.
Are you negotiating with lawmakers on health care ahead of a vote next month?
We're negotiating with lawmakers, and I've had personal talks with some Democrats. I can't tell you who they are. I just don't want to do that. It's not fair to them. About paying large amounts of dollars back to the people. You know, this was my idea.
If you needed any further evidence that Donald Trump doesn't actually care, which is a point that I think we should make as much as possible, I don't think it's like a new or novel or revolutionary point, but like an example, Trump talking about healthcare. He clearly doesn't care. He has no real policy that he's proposed. He's not trying to make your life better. When he offers up a 50-year mortgage, it's not because he thinks it'll do the job. It'll actually make housing more expensive for people. It's because he just likes throwing shit out there. He doesn't actually care. We have to, though. And we're going to push back. We're going to call it out on this show. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around at the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Keep on fighting, y'all. Don't let them silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.